Celebrating disability sport in Nottinghamshire. Nottingham has a long history as a centre of disability sport. The city and its surrounds have played a significant role in the development of cerebral palsy sport and is the birthplace of multiple adapted sports. Since the first Paralympic Games in Rome in 1960, dozens of athletes from Nottingham have represented Great Britain. 3 individuals born in Nottingham have been awarded the Paralympic Order, recognising their outstanding long-term contributions to the Paralympic movement. This makes Nottingham the city with the highest number of Paralympic Order recipients in the whole of the UK. Colin Rains, MBE, 2005, Greg Nugent, 2021, and Tim Reddish, 2025. This exhibition highlights the significance of Nottingham in the development of competitive disability sport, with a particular focus on cerebral palsy sport. It celebrates the stories, people and places of a vast and rich local history. To listen to an audio version of the exhibition, please scan the QR code. The National Paralympic Heritage Trust and National Disability Sports Organisations. The National Paralympic Heritage Trust, NPHT, was established in 2015. It exists to collect, protect and share stories and collections relating to the Paralympic movement and its pioneers. Part of the Trust's mission is to promote a greater understanding of disability and champion access and inclusivity. In 2023, the NPHT began a programme of work to record and share the histories of the UK's National Disability Sport Organisations, NDSOs. This has resulted in a series of regional exhibitions like this one.
The National Paralympic Heritage Trust logo is all black. On the left is a figure with arms and a leg outstretched. The top half of the second leg is just visible. Surrounding the figure are lots of spiralling lines, suggesting movement and motion. To the right of the figure is a vertical black line. To the right of the line are bold capital letters, spelling NPHT. Underneath it reads in full, National Paralympic Heritage Trust.
Cerebral palsy sport. CP Sport is the National Disability Sports Organisation which supports people with cerebral palsy to access and enjoy sport. CP Sport supports people all over the UK and maintains a strong historical connection to the city of Nottingham. CP Sport, cerebral palsy sport. The words CP Sport are written in capital letters. Most of the letters are navy blue. The O is written in green and positioned slightly higher than the other letters. A dark pink line in the shape of a smile runs from the P to the O. Underneath, the words Cerebral Palsy Sport are written in navy blue and in lowercase letters. With thanks to, this exhibition was created by the National Paralympic Heritage Trust in collaboration with Cerebral Palsy CP Sport. It was co-curated with a group of local individuals who have been significantly involved in the development of disability sport in Nottingham as athletes, coaches, educators, administrators and agitators. The object labels in the exhibition have been written by young people at the Pace Centre Aylesbury, with thanks to Nottingham Central Library, by Connie Hanson, the Carousel and Dynamic Sports Floors. This exhibition has been supported by the National Lottery Heritage Fund and its players and the Esmée Fairbairn Communities and Collections Fund delivered by the Museums Association. The National Lottery Heritage Fund logo is on the left. It is a blue circle with the lottery logo inside of it. It symbolises a hand with its fingers crossed with eyes and a smile. Text above the hand reads, Made Possible With, and below the hand, Heritage Fund. The second logo is black text on a white background. The letters MA are shown in capital letters to the left of a black vertical line. On the right side of the line, it says Esmée Fairbairn Collections Fund.
Frame running in Harvey Haddon Stadium, CP World Games 2015. Image credit, CP Sport. This is a colour photograph of a group of athletes frame running on an athletics track in a stadium. We can see 4 competitors with one in the foreground taking up the main part of the image. Their frame runner is blue and bears the number 67. They are wearing a white vest and black shorts and grey helmet. Their feet are in the air, implying they are mid-race, with each athlete occupying a separate lane of the track. They are gripping tightly to the handles of the runner, and they are looking down and appear to be in deep focus. One of the athletes in the background is wearing red and white, another green, and the one at the back is more blurred, but their outfit appears to be green. In the background, there are a group of adults standing and sitting. Some are wearing the same bright green clothing. Perhaps they are part of the same team. The weather is overcast but bright, and there are lots of tall green trees in the background. This image was taken at the CP World Games in 2015 at Harvey Haddon Stadium.
Wall 2, Timeline. This timeline highlights some of the key milestones in disability sport history, both locally in Nottingham and as part of the Paralympic movement. We encourage you to add your own memories to the display using the notepads provided. 1948, the first Stoke Mandeville Games, the precursor to the Paralympic Games, takes place in Buckinghamshire. Image caption, the Stoke Mandeville team at the 1948 Games. Image credit, Wheel Power. This is a black and white photo of archers at the Stoke Mandeville Games in July 1948. The archers are seated in their wheelchairs in a row. They are in a field, and in the distance behind the archers are 4 single-storey buildings with large pitched roofs. There is one fully visible building in the centre, and the end of the other buildings can be seen off to the left of the image. There are trees around the buildings. The archers are positioned in front of 2 archery targets. They are large circular freestanding targets. The scoring rings are printed on paper and mounted to a compacted circle made of straw. The scoring area is made of 5 concentric rings, each marking a specific colour zone. This image does not show the different colours of the target, just different shades of grey and black. There are 8 archers in total. All are using wheelchairs and 4 are holding bows. The bows look like thin poles and seem simple and traditional. The wheelchairs and the bows reflect the time period, as they feel very old-fashioned. All of the men are wearing polo shirts and trousers. On the right breast of their shirts are sewn on badges. They resemble stars, which suggest these are team members from the Royal Star and Garter home who are competing with Stoke Mandeville hospital patients. We know the Star and Garter team won the competition.
1951. Physiotherapist Miss Elizabeth Trussell sets up a swimming club in Nottingham to aid the physical rehabilitation of local polio patients.
Image caption, Nottingham Evening Post, Saturday 3rd of April 1954. Image credit, Reach plc. This is a brief news article from the Nottingham Evening Post dated Saturday 3rd of April 1954. At the top of the page in the black box are the words "on the square", and underneath it, underlined, are the words "at Victoria Bath". The news story below discusses children affected by polio having swimming lessons at Victoria Bath. These are the early years of what would become the Nottingham District Sports and Recreation Club.
It reads, "On the square at Victoria Baths, polio children swim to health. Every Thursday, a small procession of children arrive at the Victoria Baths, Nottingham. Some come in ambulances, for all have one thing in common. They have lost the full use of one or more limbs, often as a result of infantile paralysis. They come to learn to swim, and the physiotherapists from the hospitals teach them how, for in the water they can move limbs which they cannot otherwise use in the normal way."
Image caption, Rose Dawson and Elizabeth Trussell classifying a competitor. Image credit, Doug Williamson. This is a colour photograph of Rose Dawson and Elizabeth Trussell classifying a woman. The woman is standing in the centre of the picture and is holding onto a brown examination couch which has a wooden frame. She is gripping its side and is looking to her left. Behind her is a white wall, and at head level there are till silver sockets for plugs. Her wheelchair is in the foreground in the bottom right hand corner of the photo. The wheelchair has a blue seat and metal frame. The woman is mixed race and wearing a white jumper which has brown and white horizontal stripes. Her trousers are white and her socks are pulled up high. She is wearing white gym shoes and standing on a blue mat. There are two other women standing on the right of the photo. One is Rose Dawson and she is wearing a white nurse's shirt with blue trousers. She has brown hair, wearing glasses and has her arms around behind her back. Next to her is Elizabeth Trussell, who is holding a sheet of paper in her left hand and a pen in the other. She has her pen on the paper as she looks down. Elizabeth has grey hair and is wearing glasses. This is a photo of something important in disability Paralympic sport. Classifying a person's disability so that they can be put in the class and fairly compete with others in competitions. Image caption: Elizabeth Trussell unveils a plaque in 1991 to commemorate the Nottingham District Sports Club for the Disabled's 40 years of swimming. Image credit Doug Williamson. This is a colour photograph of Elizabeth Trussell, founder of the Nottingham District Sports Club for the Disabled. To the left of the picture, on a white background and in black font, the caption reads, Elizabeth Trussell, who founded the club, unveiling a plaque to commemorate the club's 40 years of swimming in March 1991. Elizabeth is standing to the left of the picture. Her hair is grey and she's wearing glasses while smiling at the camera. She's wearing a mustard yellow blouse and a long chain hangs around her neck. Next to her is a green curtain and a railing which is above her head. The curtains have been parted and it shows the gold plaque fixed on a blue wall. The plaque reads, Nottingham District Sports Club for the Disabled. This plaque commemorates 40 years of swimming for the disabled in Nottinghamshire. Unveiled by Elizabeth C. Trussell, 10th of March 1991. Above the plaque is a flowery picture showing purple, green and white patterns. This photograph shows an important anniversary of a club that has done a lot to increase participation for the disabled in sport in Nottinghamshire. It started off with swimming in 1951 and later expanded to other sports. 1951. The National Spastic Society, now Scope, is established to improve services and education for children with cerebral palsy. The Spastic Society changed their name to Scope in 1994 to avoid use of a medical term which evolved into a highly offensive term of abuse. This exhibition includes the original name of the charity and associated journals in their historical context, acknowledging how language around disability has changed. This change reflects a transition away from a medical model of disability towards a social model, which focuses on breaking down barriers in society to make the world more inclusive for everyone. 1960. The first Paralympic Games takes place in Rome. Margaret Maughan is Britain's first gold medalist.
Margaret Maughan, wheelchair archer, at the 1962 Stoke Mandeville Games. Image credit, Margaret Maughan collection at NPHT. This is a black and white picture of men and women in wheelchairs competing in archery. We can see a field, and in the foreground there is a female archer pulling a bowstring taut. There is a straight line of wheelchair archers and standing people behind her. The archers are positioned at the edge of a concrete path that stretches backwards from the foreground into the background. Beyond the path there is a large structure. It may be a bandstand or the back of tiered seating. To the left of this is a wooden hut building. The woman in the foreground of the image is Margaret Maughan, a British Paralympian and wheelchair athlete. She has short curled hair which is pulled back. It might be windy as it looks as if her hair is in motion. She is holding up the taut bowstring to her face. It looks as if the bowstring is on her lips. She has a look of extreme concentration on her face. Her features are scrunched up and her eyes are narrowed as she aims the arrow. She is wearing a short sleeveless dress and shoes with a slight heel. It looks like it is a warm summer day. She is holding the bow in her left hand and is pulling the arrow with her right hand. The bowstring is fully extended and must require a lot of strength to pull back. She is wearing an arm protector to protect her when the bowstring snaps back once the arrow is released. The bow has a thick part around the grip where the arrow is knocked, but is thin and flexible towards the top and bottom ends. Behind Morn are other wheelchair archers. Some are extending their bows like Morn, whilst others have their bows on the ground. Standing behind them on the concrete path are a mixture of standing and seated people. Some are in suits and nurses' uniforms, whilst others are in casual summer clothing. It looks busy, and we can imagine a lot of chattering and cheering for the archers. We know this is the 1962 Stoke Mandeville Games, an annual sport competition for wheelchair athletes held at Stoke Mandeville Hospital.
Some members of the first British team, alongside Sir Ludwig Gutmann and Joan Scruton. Image credit IWAS, IWAS, now World Ability Sport. This is a black and white photograph of Professor Sir Ludwig Gutmann at Heathrow Airport greeting the first British team to compete at an international Stoke Mandeville Games. The photo shows the team sitting in their wheelchairs and Gutmann standing in the middle holding hands of two of them. They are sitting from left to right and smiling. One on the left wears a double-breasted jacket and shirt. The other four from left to right are wearing shirts and ties. Gutmann himself is wearing a dark suit, glasses, and is looking to his right to smile at the team member he is holding hands with. Also on the left is a man standing by a ramp and an open door. He is wearing a peaked cap and a dark suit and tie. He could be a bus driver ready to transport the competitors. Behind Gutmann is a woman smiling. She is wearing a stewardess's uniform with a cap and dress. Next to her are two other men smiling and in jackets. One has a white shirt and tie. Next to them and to the right of the photo is a woman in a coat, resting her hands on the rear of a wheelchair of one of the competitors. In front of the team and in the bottom right hand corner of the photo are handles of other wheelchairs. Behind the team are buildings of Heathrow Airport. To the left is a hangar with the words British Overseas Airways Corporation on its roof. In the upper right hand corner of the photo there is a propeller aircraft and on its tail is a Union flag. This is a significant photo as it shows Gutmann as an ambassador of the International Stoke Mandeville Games.
1964. A group of Nottingham Swimming Club members compete at the annual British Sports Association for the Disabled Stoke Mandeville Games in Buckinghamshire. Nottingham Evening Post audio description. This is a cutout of an article dated 24th of June 1964 from the Nottingham Evening Post. It is a news article that mentions 10 competitors from the city of Nottingham and from the wider county of Nottinghamshire who are participating at a sports festival at Stoke Mandeville. It gives the date of the festival at 11th to 12th of July. It mentions the sports of the festival: table tennis, snooker, wheelchair relays, shot put, javelin throwing and swimming. It also mentions the names of the sports people that are competing, like A. Smith, C. Wilkinson, A. Wilkerson, P. Ambrose, R. Webb, C. Guy, J. Parkin, G. Reed, L. Woolley, R. Lowndes. 1965. The Nottingham and District Sports Club for the Disabled develops out of the polio swimming group to include athletes with varying impairments. Early competitors include Roger Miller, Nancy Wayne and Alan West, all pictured here.
Roger Miller. Image credit Doug Williamson. This is a black and white photo of Nottingham Paralympian Roger Miller. Roger Miller is in the centre of the picture and seated in his wheelchair. His head is facing left, and his hands are folded. He is wearing a dark tracksuit jacket which has a silver zip. On his left jacket breast is a circle badge, although the writing is unclear. Directly behind him is a person wearing a jacket and pushing his wheelchair. To his right is another competitor in a wheelchair, being pushed along by a person wearing a coat. Judging by the people and activity in the picture, this is possibly a photo of Roger during the Parade of Nations during an early Stoke Mandeville International Games. The competitors would have signs attached to their wheelchairs displaying the names of their respective countries as they were wheeled past applauding spectators. This is an important moment for the competitors and akin to an opening ceremony that takes place during today's Paralympic Games. Nancy Wayne. Image credit Doug Williamson. This is a black and white photograph of Nancy Wayne. Nancy is in the centre of the picture and is wearing a white tracksuit jacket. She is smiling with her eyes focusing on something to her right. The collar of her tracksuit is black, and the jacket is open at the zip. There are black stripes that run across the shoulders and down her arms. The open jacket shows her t-shirt, which has the patterns of diagonal stripes, which are either blue with white stars on them, red or white. She is also wearing a necklace. On her right breast of the jacket, she has the letters NW sewn on, and underneath the initials is a circular badge which is black. Inside the badge, there is a white flag with the letters BPF in black stitched in them. On the left breast, there is another circular badge sewn on with the letters that are unclear. The circular badge is also stitched onto her right arm. Behind Nancy are tiles, suggesting she is waiting in a swimming pool area. Alan West. Image credit Doug Williamson. This is a close-up photograph of Alan West. He is turned slightly sideways, looking back toward the camera with a warm smile. Alan's face and upper chest make up most of the image, with a little bit of background around him, although the exact nature of the background and its details aren't clear enough for us to see or make out. Alan has black curly hair, a dark beard and moustache. Alan looks happy. His smile reveals his top row of teeth. His eyebrows are slightly raised. Alan is wearing a dark grey-brown jacket. The lighting of the photo is quite dim and soft.
1968. The Paralympic Games takes place in Tel Aviv, Israel.
Paralympic profile Alan West. Alan West competed in 3 Paralympic Games: Tel Aviv 1968, Heidelberg 1972 and Toronto 1976. Born in Nottingham, he took up swimming after a cycling accident injured his spine. He was a member of the Lodgemore Spinal Unit Sports Club in Sheffield and the Nottingham and District Sports Club for the Disabled. At the Paralympics, Alan earned 1 gold, 5 silvers and a bronze in swimming, and an additional gold in pentathlon at his final games in 1972. He went on to manage the British swim team and died in 2007.
Para swimmer Alan West with his medals from the 1968 Stoke Mandeville International Games in Tel Aviv. Image credit Alan West Collection, NPHT. He is looking towards the camera with a face full of joy as he holds up the medals that he is wearing round his neck. Alan is sitting in his wheelchair, which looks to have metal arms. He is holding up his medals with his right hand, while his left is resting over the armrest of his chair, and his hand is resting on his leg. Alan has two around his neck, which we know to be the silver and bronze medals that he won during his debut of the same year. The silver medal was for backstroke, while the bronze was for freestyle. He also has two certificates placed on his lap. The certificates show a picture of a medal connected to a ribbon. The medal is that of the International Stoke Mandeville Games logo, which is 3 wheels interconnected to form what could be interpreted as a triangle. Above the medal image is Hebrew writing. He is wearing the signature uniform associated with the 1968 Games, which is a dark green blazer with a pocket on his left breast where the Stoke Mandeville Games logo is placed, and above it is written International Stoke Mandeville Games, and beneath that is 1968.
1969. The first National Spastic Games are held at Stoke Mandeville. The Spastic Society changed their name to Scope in 1994. 1970s. Boccia is adopted in Britain. Find out more about Boccia inside the exhibition. 1974. The first International Cerebral Palsy Games take place at Crystal Palace, London. Spastics News audio description. This is a feature article from Spastics News Journal from September 1974. The headline reads, First International Games held in Britain. Above the headline are the words competitors from 13 countries, and they are underlined. It tells the story of the first International Spastics Games that were held in the country and in Crystal Palace, London. The page consists of 7 black and white photographs that are the top, the side and at the bottom.
1976. The first Paralympic Winter Games takes place in Örnsköldsvik, Sweden. These are the first games to include amputees and blind and visually impaired athletes. Image caption. The 1976 Winter Paralympic Opening Ceremony, Örnsköldsvik, Sweden. Credit, Lasse Söderlund.
This is a colour photograph of the opening ceremony at the Örnsköldsvik 1976 Winter Paralympic Games in Sweden. This photo was taken by Lasse Söderlund. It is taking place inside the Kemphallen Arena in Örnsköldsvik. The arena has a green floor similar to what you would see in an indoor bowls centre. On its edge are white advertising hoardings. From the left to the right of the photo, the hoardings read Citroën, Scandia, Trygg-Hansa and Flact. Several can't be read because their heads obscure the words. To the left of the photograph, several people are standing behind the hoardings. There's a space behind them and then more advertising hoardings. From left to right they read Oskar Strandberg, Janka Pektam FTR, Oskar Strandberg again, Unison, Shell, Ilitvara Mato, Nur Avantapster, Toga, Rhoda Pelven, Oskar Strandberg again, and Unison. Behind this hoarding are rows of yellow spectator seats. Right in the background are wooden panel lights, and the ceiling features more advertising hoardings that are in yellow. The words are unclear, but one says Varma. A carpet is in the centre of the photo, and to the left of it is a spotlight to illuminate the floor. The carpet leads to a yellow platform, and standing on it is a dark-suited man holding a piece of paper. The person standing and speaking to open the games is Bertil Lofberg, the regional governor of the county of West Norrland. On either side of the platform are white troughs for plants, and behind it are terracotta plants. Standing further behind the platform, in a semicircle, are people wearing yellow tracksuit tops and blue trousers. They are holding signs which are obscured slightly by the light, however they are the names of the participating countries in English. Standing in a semicircle formation are the participating competitors. The flags in front of them are as follows. Australia. The competitor Ron Funuan wasn't eligible to compete because his disability did not meet event classifications. Austria, Canada, Czechoslovakia, Finland, France, Germany, Britain, Mike Brace amongst them, Japan, Yugoslavia, Norway, Poland, Switzerland, Uganda, United States and Sweden. The ceremony looks simple compared to the ones of today, and this is a photograph of a significant moment, the first Winter Paralympic Games.
Image caption: a competitor in the 1976 Winter Paralympic Games. Credit: Lasse Soderlind.
The photo is of a competitor during cross-country skiing. They are skiing in trails left in the snow by other skis. In the background and in the left of the photo are trees. In front of the trees is a metal fence, and standing in front of it is a spectator. Next to them are lamps that you would see in a street. Next to them are structures that look like goals used in ice hockey matches. They too are behind metal fences. Next to the structures are tents which are covered in snow. Running in parallel to the competitor is a line of small white flags on poles. They have the letters OK on them. The competitor is in the left of the photo and his right leg is on the ski. The left leg has been amputated. His socks are pulled up and his dark gloves have a pattern on them. It is uncertain whether it's the German eagle or the Canadian maple leaf. The competitor is wearing a white bib with the number 66 on it and the letters OK about them. The jacket is zipped up with the collars splayed out. Running down from the shoulders to the sleeves of the arm is a diamond pattern. The runner is wearing a striped bobble hat and has a look of concentration as he focuses on the snow and on propelling himself along. It is unknown what nationality the competitor is or what stage of the cross-country skiing event this is. This photo shows the concentration and effort needed for the event. It also shows the solitary nature of the event at times, the competitor being on his own. 1978. The Cerebral Palsy International Sport and Recreation Association, CP-ISRA, is formed at the 4th International CP Games in Edinburgh. 1979. The Special Olympics UK Training Day is conducted in Nottingham. A team of 32 then travelled to compete in Brockport, New York, USA. Doug Williamson was the team's first athletics coach.
Image caption: the Special Olympics UK team gather in front of their team bus. Credit: Doug Williamson.
This is a colour photograph of the Great Britain team for the 1979 Special Olympics Brockport Games, located in the USA. There are 38 people in the photo, and each is standing in front of a typical yellow American school bus. In the centre of the group is the Union Jack held up by the team. They are wearing a variety of different outfits. A group of men on the far right are wearing suits, while in the centre people are wearing casual sports clothes or sports jackets with dresses or skirts. One person on the far left is wearing a dress. Behind the school bus, there are tall trees that seem to wrap around the bus on the other side. Behind the trees are tall brick buildings. The weather in the picture is nice and sunny, and we have the feeling that this is a lovely, happy day.
1980. The 1980 Paralympic Games take place in Arnhem, Netherlands. Cerebral palsy athletes are included for the first time.
Paralympic profile: Chris Channon, MBE. Chris was born with cerebral palsy and made his Paralympic debut at Arnhem 1980, competing in shot put, discus and club throw, and coming fourth in the 80-metre sprint. At the New York 1984 Games, he achieved a silver medal in the 10-metre air rifle event, and the same year set up a clay pigeon shooting club. Chris suffered a spinal injury in 1994 and worked as a volunteer for a special needs school. Chris was awarded an MBE in 2001 for his work. Living in Arnold, he set up the Pegasus pilot scheme in 2008 to enable disabled people with communication difficulties to contact the emergency services in Nottinghamshire and other areas across the UK. Image caption: Chris Channon in his team tracksuit. 1984, New York. Credit, Chris Channon, MBE.
This is a colour photograph of Chris Channon, MBE. He is sitting next to the US flag, only part of which we can see, and is on his left. Behind him is a plain white wall. His hairstyle is mostly flat and short, with a fringe predominantly on his left side of his face, about 1 inch above his eyebrow. He has a thick moustache, while the rest of his face is shaved. He is smiling and looks fairly relaxed. He is wearing a white jacket with red vertical lines. There is a small logo of red and blue on his left breast, which looks a bit like a mini shield. The sleeves of the jacket are blue, except for the wrists, which are red. His trousers are dark blue, and his trainers are the same dark blue. He is wearing white socks. He is sitting casually in a chair with his arms crossed against his chest and his right leg crossed over his left. Specifically, his ankle rests on his left leg.
All three, 1981 to 1999. 1984, the Paralympic Games take place between Stoke, Mandeville, UK and New York, USA. This marked the largest number of athletes with cerebral palsy to leave the UK. The CP team won the medal table ahead of the host country. Caption: The Panthers at the New York 1984 Paralympic Games. Credit Doug Williamson. This is a colour photo of the Nottingham Panthers Disability Club team at the New York 1984 Paralympic Games. The 6 team members are in the centre of the photo and standing next to each other smiling. Their team gear of jackets, shirts or vests has a white body with stripes with red collars, blue sleeves and red cuffs. The shorts are blue as well. They are standing in front of a chain link fence. In the bottom left hand corner of the photo is a white wooden barrier. Behind the chain link fence is a building. To the right of the building are floodlights. Furthermore, also in the background is a person in uniform wearing a white cap and shirt. The sky is overcast. This photo captures a happy moment for a cerebral palsy team at a significant time in Paralympic history, a moment when the Games were divided between 2 host cities. New York in 1984 was specifically for those with cerebral palsy and those not in wheelchairs. Paralympic profile: Jane Stidever. Born in and from Markfield, Jane has cerebral palsy. Jane made her debut at the New York 1984 Paralympic Games, securing a gold medal in dressage. She then switched to swimming and achieved 9 more gold medals, including 6 silver and 6 bronze, between the Seoul 1988 and the Athens 2004 Paralympic Games. Jane's Way, a road in Markfield, is named after her. Her mother Jill was awarded the BBC Sporting Personality of the Year Unsung Hero Award in 2014 for her work teaching swimming to disabled children. She also has the Jill Stidever Hall named after her at Markfield Community Centre. Jane Stidever audio description. This is a colour photograph of Jane Stidever competing at the Athens 2004 Paralympic Games. Jane is in the centre of the picture and in the swimming pool. She is in a swimming lane, and in the foreground of the photo is a floating barrier which is coloured blue. In the background is another barrier which is coloured orange and marking another swimming lane. Jane's head is facing right as she performs a backstroke. She is wearing a white swimming cap which has a Union flag on it, and albeit it was obscured by the water, you can see in blue letters or numbers 2004 Paralympic Games and her surname Stidever. Her goggles are black, and underneath the water her blue swimming costume can be seen. The costume on its left breast has the Union flag on it too. Water splashes show the photo was taken mid-stroke, and her mouth is open, showing the exertion. This photo captures an exciting moment of a competition for Jane Stidever, and this Games marked the last she would compete in during her Paralympic career.
Paralympic profile: Rob Tarr. Rob Tarr is an athlete and coach who helped to establish the first wheelchair rugby team in the UK, the East Midlands Marauders, in the 1980s. Rob competed in a wheelchair rugby demonstration event at the Atlanta 1996 Paralympic Games, before competing at the Sydney 2000 and Athens 2004 Games. Rob also competed in 3 World Championships and 3 European Championships before retiring from competition in 2005. Rob then served as assistant coach for the Paralympics GB wheelchair rugby team that won gold at the Tokyo 2020 Games. In 2023, he was inducted into the Great Britain Wheelchair Rugby Hall of Fame.
Rob Tarr competes in wheelchair rugby at the Sydney 2000 Paralympics. Image credit Rob Tarr. This is a colour photograph of wheelchair rugby player Rob Tarr competing during the Sydney 2000 Paralympic Games. Rob Tarr is in the centre of the picture. He is wearing a red vest with black stripes on his shoulders. On his right vest breast is a white circular badge with the then Paralympic symbols, the red, blue and green tiger arcs on it. For his right arm he has rings and a lion tattooed on it. As he grips the wheelchair wheels with his hands, he is looking to his right at an opposing player who is wearing a blue vest. The opposing player has the blue ball in his lap and he is focusing his eyes down on it as he steers his wheelchair with his hands. Behind the player is another player who is wearing red and thus is Tarr's teammate. He is looking at the blue player as well. The floor they are competing on is shiny yellow wood. Behind them there are white and green advertising hoardings. Seated behind them are men and women who are wearing blue, white and red jackets. Their proximity to the pitch suggests they are team staff. Above them there is a transparent barrier and seated in rows of green seats are the spectators. This is a snapshot of a frenetic moment in wheelchair rugby and of a man who helped pioneer the sport in the United Kingdom and beyond.
1984, the East Midlands Marauders were formed and were the first wheelchair rugby team in the UK. The team formed having seen a demonstration of murder ball by a Canadian team at the 1984 International Stoke Mandeville Games. Today, they regularly train at the Lee Westwood Leisure Centre, Nottingham. Image caption: the East Midlands Marauders, Steve Alexander, Rob Tarr, Dave Pick, Chris Davis, Pete Chadwick, Trevor Murray, Peter Carruthers. Image credit Rob Tarr. This is a colour photograph of the East Midlands Marauders wheelchair rugby team. There are 7 players who are in the centre of the photo. Over their regular clothes, they are wearing their team vests. The vests are blue with a red stripe down the middle, and on the left breast is a white triangle. There are white numbers on the front as well, and from left to right the numbers are 9, 8, 1, 2, 7, 4 and 6. The team members are posing in a hall which has a shiny brown floor, and behind them is a white wall. On the wall are notice boards which use brown cork material. On the centre board is a white paper that says the new running challenge. There are yellow, green, blue and orange sheets on the other boards, however. What they say is unclear. This is a happy moment for a team that pioneered a sport that became one of the most popular and prominent as a Paralympic sport. 1984. Polybat is invented. Find out more inside the exhibition. 1985. Pendulum Bowling is invented. Find out more inside the exhibition. 1986. The first Floor Lacrosse prototype is made with a grant from Nottingham Council. Find out more inside the exhibition. 1986. The first World Games for Disabled Youth takes place on 30th of August. Harvey Haddon Stadium, the National Water Sports Centre and the Ice Stadium are amongst the venues, and Nottingham Polytechnic is used for accommodation. Image caption: Athletes parade at the World Games for Disabled Youth, printed in the Nottingham Arrow, November 1986. Image credit Nottingham Local Studies Library. This is a black and white photo of a team of GB Paralympians at an event. At the far left of the image is a person holding up a sign with Great Britain on it. The sign obscures the crowd and the building the audience are in, which dominates the top half of the photo, as the building stretches from the left edge of the photo, tapers down due to the perspective the photo was taken at, and ends just before the top far right of the image, with the top right hand corner having 2 small squares of sky present, framed by the trees in the background. Image caption: a feature of Nottingham athletes in the Nottingham Evening Post, Saturday 24th of March 1986. Image credit Reach PLC. This is a newspaper article about the first World Games for disabled youth that were held in Nottingham that year. The article dates from 24th of March 1986 and the headline is in a black box. The headline is in white letters and reads, "Games Fever, City Leads the World." The article also features a photo of 4 people which is in black and white. Ruscliffe School PE teacher Peter Milner and Peter Wake. The 2 athletes from the local area are seated in wheelchairs and they are Moe Campbell and Stephen Wake, son of Peter.
1988. The National Spastic Society Sports and Leisure Branch establishes its headquarters in Nottingham.
The Spastic Society changed their name to Scope in 1994 to avoid use of a medical term which evolved into a highly offensive term of abuse. This exhibition includes the original name of the charity and associated journals in their historical context, acknowledging how language around disability has changed. This change reflects a transition away from a medical model of disability towards a social model, which focuses on breaking down barriers in society to make the world more inclusive for everyone.
1988. The 1988 Paralympic Games take place in Seoul, South Korea. Cerebral palsy athletes are pictured below.
Cerebral palsy athletes at the 1988 Paralympic Games in Seoul, South Korea. Image credit CP Sport. This is a colour photograph of the British cerebral palsy competitors at the Seoul 1988 Paralympic Games. There are 38 in total. The 10 athletes making up the front row are wheelchair users. The second row includes seated athletes on a plinth alongside others standing on the floor. The athletes in the back row are standing. The whole group is positioned on the tarmac of what appears to be a car park. They are all wearing white tracksuit tops with red and blue chevrons across the chest and blue trousers with a red chevron on each left leg. Behind them is a multi-level cream-coloured building separated by balconies. There are 5 flag poles in front of the building. This photo is a significant moment in Paralympic history, as it was the first time in 24 years that the Games were hosted at an Olympic city.
1989. Both the International Paralympic Committee and the British Paralympic Association are established. 1989. The first International Robin Hood Games take place in Nottingham, with 24 countries and 550 competitors, all with cerebral palsy.
A double-page spread on the Robin Hood Games from the September 1989 edition of Disability Now magazine. Image credit Scope. This is a double-page spread covering the Robin Hood Games that took place in Nottingham in 1989. It was published in Disability Now magazine in the September 1989 edition. The spread features pages 8 and 9. The headline Robin Hood Games is in a black box and in white letters on the top left-hand corner of page 8. Underneath it is a figure resembling Robin Hood with a triangular-shaped hat and stretching a bow to shoot an arrow to the right. The right of the figure has the words, "Beryl Lever reports on a strong sporting challenge at the International Robin Hood Games for people with cerebral palsy held at Nottingham in July." There are 6 black and white photos on this page. Page 9 features an athlete's diary, and also in the top right-hand corner of the page has the same Robin Hood figure, this time with the bow facing left. There are 4 black and white photos on this page.
1990. Table cricket is invented. Find out more inside the exhibition. 1992. The Paralympic Games take place in Barcelona, Spain. Keith Wenborn managed Great Britain's cerebral palsy football team at the Games, where the squad finished in 4th place. Keith had previously set up the Nottingham Cerebral Palsy football squad in 1980. In 1996, the club hosted an international tournament at the Nottingham Forest training ground.
The CP football team at the Barcelona 1992 Paralympic Games. Image credit Keith Wenborn. This is a colour photograph of the cerebral palsy football team at the Barcelona 1992 Paralympic Games. The team members are in the centre of the photograph and are wearing formal clothes while smiling. It is a sunny day in the photo. They are dressed in white shirts, blue ties, blazers and black shoes. The front row of the team consists of 7 players. They are holding in their hands yellow hats that look like Panama hats. 5 other members of the team are standing behind them. They are standing on grass. Behind them and to the left of the photograph is a silver column. Further left you can see a ramp and a person wearing shorts and a shirt standing by it. To the right and behind the team is a tree. Further to the right are lamps. The background of the photograph is dominated by the blocks of flats. To the left of the picture, a Finnish flag is on display in a window of a 3rd floor flat. We don't know where this photo was taken, though it could possibly be the Paralympic village that was used for the Barcelona 1992 Games. It is a happy moment for the football team while wearing formal attire.
Paralympic profile. David Padgen, PLY. David Padgen, PLY, competed in javelin at the Barcelona 1992 Paralympic Games, achieving 6th position, and the Atlanta 1996 Paralympic Games, where he achieved 4th. Following this, he became the first European with cerebral palsy to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, and in 2012 became the first disabled person to traverse from north to south of Mount Elbrus.
Dave Padgen summits Mount Kilimanjaro. Image credit Dave Padgen. This is a coloured photo of David Padgen on the summit of Mount Kilimanjaro. In the image we can see David clutching his hiking pole as he leans towards a large sign with multiple pieces of wood, each displaying separate pieces of text. Behind the sign is another person, their head obscured by the sign's wooden pieces. The sky is a clear blue, with the mountain's snowy peak at their feet. The sky behind David is a pastel and baby blue near the edge of the peak of the mountain's surface, and transitions to a more vibrant blue towards the top of the image, becoming a dark navy blue at the very top of the image. The ground under David is covered in snow, though some very dark grey stones and surface can be seen at the right side of the image. David is bald and is wearing a dark grey outdoor trousers pair and a red outdoors jacket matching his red hiking backpack. The jacket he is wearing has a grey line going down his left sleeve, which is visible because David is leading his arm towards his left hip as he holds one of his hiking poles while gripping one of the bottom wooden pieces of the sign in his right hand. David is looking towards the camera, sunglasses over his eyes. He has a medical pipe in his nose. The piping drapes over the top of his jacket and partly obscures his right arm. The sign David is holding is wooden, and it appears handmade as the sign's wooden pieces are wonky and uneven, and not consistently straight, and each has a unique shape. The text on the sign is written in a very vibrant yellow, in capital letters, and the spaces between the text are filled with many stickers, none of which are clear enough to make out. The first plank at the top, "Congratulations, you are now at," followed by Uhuru Peak, Tanzania, 5,895 metres AMSL. On the plank below it, followed by Africa's highest point, world's tallest freestanding mountain. On the third, with the first sentence above the second, the last plank reads, one of the world's largest volcanoes.
1993. The second CP-ISRA Robin Hood Games take place in Nottingham. 32 countries and 620 competitors take part. Paralympic profile. Daniel West. Daniel West competed in shot put and discus at 5 Paralympic Games between 1996 and 2012, winning 2 bronze medals and a silver medal. Daniel was born in Cambridge with cerebral palsy and prior to competing in throwing events, tried basketball and swimming. Deciding on athletics, he moved to Nottingham in 2000 to train, including with Nottingham Athletic Club, based at Harvey Haddon Stadium. One of his best performances was at the 2001 CP-ISRA World Games at Harvey Haddon, winning the CP4 discus and shot put. Daniel also won medals Daniel also won gold medals at the 2009 and 2012 Paralympic World Cups and has reached the podium at the Commonwealth Games and the IPC World Championships.
Daniel West is pictured holding a shot put with fellow competitor Chris Martin holding a discus, Atlanta 1996. Image credit Daniel West. This is a colour photograph of shot put competitor Daniel West and discus thrower Chris Martin taken at the Atlanta 1996 Paralympic Games. The two are standing in the centre of the photo. Daniel West is in the centre of the photograph and is wearing a white polo shirt with a piece of paper pinned to his shirt. It gives his competitor number as 765. On his left breast is a Union flag with the words Atlanta Paralympics UK. He is wearing blue tracksuit bottoms which have 3 stripes running down the side, and on the left leg the Union flag with the then Paralympic symbols, the Taeguk's underneath it. He is wearing a watch on his left arm and he is also holding the shot put which is coloured black. He has his right arm around the right shoulder of Chris Martin, who has his left arm around Daniel's shoulder. Chris Martin is wearing an athletics vest which is mostly blue but has white straps. On the right strap of the vest is a Union flag and Taeguk's. Underneath the vest, Chris Martin is wearing a white t-shirt with the word Adidas on display. He is also wearing blue shorts. He is also wearing a watch on his right arm and is holding a red and silver discus. They are both standing on grass, and in the background an athletics track with a red surface is there. Behind the track is a grey barrier, and behind it is a chain link fence and trees. This is possibly the venue where Daniel West and Chris Martin are competing in their respective events. This photo marks a happy moment for 2 Nottingham competitors, and West achieved a bronze medal during the Atlanta Games.
1996. The Paralympic Games take place in Atlanta, USA. Nottingham topper, 14th of August 1996. Image credit, Nottingham Local Studies Library.
This article is about the Nottingham athletes who were travelling to Atlanta for the Summer Paralympic Games in 1996. It was published in a Nottingham Topper dated 14th of July 1996. The headline reads, The Notts Paralympic Squad. In the top left-hand corner of the article, there is the logo of the Nottinghamshire County Council Sports Disability Unit, which is an N with 2 people on either end of it. One person a wheelchair user, the other running. There is one photo in the article featuring the Nottinghamshire athletes waving their union flags before they set off for Atlanta.
The Notts Paralympic Squad, the largest group of Notts athletes ever to take part in the Paralympics, are in Atlanta, preparing to fly the flag for the country. A team of 14 talented athletes and 7 officials, the biggest group of any country in Britain, are planning to do us proud and return to Notts with a haul of medals. Paralympic profile: Tim Reddish, CBE DL. Tim is a Deputy Lieutenant for Nottinghamshire. Born in Nottingham, Tim managed the Northern Bath swimming pool in Basford in the 1980s. He made his Paralympic debut at the Barcelona 1992 Paralympic Games, earning a silver and bronze medal in the pool. Having been diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa, Tim lost his vision completely by 1996 and went on to win 1 silver and 1 bronze medal at the Atlanta 1996 Games and a silver at the Sydney 2000 Games. He was awarded the Freedom of the City of Nottingham in 2005. Tim then became the National Performance Director of the Disability Swim Team and served as chairman of the British Paralympic Association from 2008 to 2017. He was appointed as a CBE in 2017 for his services to sport, and in 2025 was awarded the Paralympic Order.
Tim Reddish in his British team tracksuit at the 1994 World Championships in Malta. Image credit Tim Reddish, CBE DL. This is a colour photograph of swimmer Tim Reddish. This photo was taken during the 1994 World Para-Swimming Championships in Malta. In the photo, Tim Reddish is in the centre of the picture and smiling. He is wearing a tracksuit which is mostly a Union flag pattern except for the bottom right-hand corner, which is navy blue. The zip is white, and on the left chest breast, the logo for Speedo is on the white stripe of the flag design. The logo appears again on the white collar of the jacket, which is zipped up to Tim's chin. The left arm of the jacket is blue and the right arm is white. Tim Reddish is standing in front of the green leaves of a bush or hedge. Between the gaps, sunlight shines through them. This photo captures a happy moment for Tim Reddish and taken before he went completely blind due to his condition.
1999. Zone hockey is developed. Find out more inside the exhibition.
Wall 4, 2000 to present. 2000. The 2000 Paralympic Games takes place in Sydney, Australia. 2000. CP Sport becomes an independent charity with the aim to support people with cerebral palsy to access and enjoy sport. Shirley Hughes MBE is the first president. Image caption: the CP Sport logo. Credit CP Sport. The words CP Sport are written in capital letters. Most of the letters are navy blue. The O is written in green and positioned slightly higher than the other letters. A dark pink line in the shape of a smile runs from the P to the O. Underneath, the words Cerebral Palsy Sport are written in navy blue and in lowercase letters.
Paralympic profile: James Crisp. James is one of Paralympics GB's most successful swimmers, with 12 Paralympic medals. Born in Nottingham, James attended Sheffield University and trained at Ponds Forge International Sports Centre. His Paralympic debut was at the Sydney 2000 Paralympic Games, winning 3 gold, 2 silver and 2 bronze medals. At the Athens 2004 Paralympic Games, James earned a further 3 silver medals and a bronze medal. After missing the Beijing 2008 Paralympic Games due to shoulder surgery, James came back to win a silver medal at his final games in London in 2012.
James Crisp competes in the Paralympic Games in Athens 2004. Image credit: Paralympics GB collection. This is a colour photograph of swimmer James Crisp while competing at the Athens 2004 Paralympic Games. His head is in the left of the picture and he is facing right. Behind him is a yellow floating lane barrier. There's a stretch of water behind that and then another floating lane barrier showing another lane. James Crisp is wearing goggles with a black strap and a white swimming cap. Near its peak, the word Great Britain is written and underneath is the Union flag. Underneath the flag, the words Athens 2004 Paralympic Games are written in blue. Underneath those words, the surname Crisp is written and is bolder in font, helping to identify him as a competitor. His mouth is open, showing exertion, and water splashes in front of him, showing the picture was taken mid-stroke as his head rises above the surface of the water. This photo was possibly taken during the S9 freestyle event at Athens 2004. It was a successful Games for James Crisp as he achieved 3 silver medals and 1 bronze medal.
Paralympic profile: Penny Briscoe, CBE. Born in Greater Nottingham, Penny competed in canoe slalom between 1983 and 1996, before switching to become senior national coach for the Atlanta 1996 Olympic Games. She joined Paralympics GB in 2001 and was appointed Director of Sport the following year. She was appointed chef de mission for the Sochi 2014 Winter Paralympic Games and has served in that position since. She was awarded an MBE in 2013 and was promoted to OBE in 2017 for her services to disability sport.
Image caption: Paralympics GV chef de mission Penny Briscoe at a Paris 2024 Games press conference. Image credit: Sam Mellish, Paralympics GB. This is a colour photograph of Paralympics GB chef de mission Penny Briscoe. She is seated in the centre of the photo on a black chair. Behind her and on the left is a white lectern with a microphone attached to it. The lectern has the British Paralympics GB lion on it, and underneath it is the red, blue and green of the Agitos. Further in the background are the colours of red, blue and white, representing the colours of the Union flag. Obscured by Penny Briscoe's head is a white lion's head and the word Paralympics. Penny Briscoe is in the centre of the photo. She is smiling and has her arms relaxed in the photo by her side. She is wearing a white round neck t-shirt which has the words Great Britain written in red on her chest. She has the Union flag on the sleeve of her left arm. The Paralympics GB lion and the red, blue and green Agitos are on the left breast of the t-shirt and the Adidas symbol is on the right. This photo captures a happy moment for Penny Briscoe as she serves as chef de mission for another Paralympic Games, as she has done so for a long time. 2004. The 2004 Paralympic Games takes place in Athens, Greece. Paralympians with cerebral palsy see lots of success at the Games, having been coached from a young age by CP Sport volunteer coaches.
Image caption. British Paralympic judo athlete Simon Jackson competes in Athens in 2004. Simon has also coached at Rycroft Judo Club in Nottingham. Image credit. Paralympics GB collection, NPHT.
This is a colour photo of British judoka Simon Jackson competing during the Athens 2004 Paralympic Games. He is in a ring which has green mats. The border of the ring are red mats, and in the background an official wearing a blazer and yellow tie watches the bout. In the background there are people wearing yellow jackets and blue trousered tracksuits walking by a blue and yellow wall. They are possibly team members of other teams. Simon Jackson is wearing a blue judo uniform and his opponent is wearing white. On his left side, the Union flag can be seen. His face shows exertion as he grapples his opponent's left leg behind the knee. His upper body is facing diagonally down the hall as his left knee is planted on the mat. His right leg is behind between the legs of his opponent. The opponent has both feet off the ground and his left hand is grappling Jackson's uniform. His right hand is balled up into a fist. This photo captures a tense moment of sparring during a judo match. 2006. The 9th Winter Paralympics takes place in Turin, Italy. Asta, mascot for the Torino 2006 Paralympic Winter Games. This is a colour image of Asta, the mascot that was designed for the Torino 2006 Winter Paralympic Games. Asta is a snowflake and has the name as Asta is the Latin for star. It is coloured blue, and like a snowflake you'll find in the natural world, it has 6 dendrites or arms. Inside the arms are bold lines that resemble chicken feet but are like the veins of the arms of the snowflake. The outer border of the snowflake is black. In the centre of Asta is its face. It has eyebrows which are dark blue. Underneath the eyebrows are its eyes, which are coloured black and are shaped like half moons. Its mouth is open wide, and a single white tooth can be seen in the upper jaw and a red tongue at the lower jaw. It gives the snowflake a friendly expression. Underneath the mouth is the logo for the Torino Games. The logo consists of 3 stars that have 4 points and are coloured black. From left to right, 1 starts the lowest, the second rises, and the 3 is at its tallest. The stars symbolise human figures. Underneath them are the words Torino 2006 Paralympic Games, and underneath the words is the Paralympic symbol, the Agitos. Instead of its usual red, blue and green colours, it is black. This image of a snowflake uses its characteristics to show the uniqueness of the Paralympic competitors and to give it a friendly expression. It was also the first Winter Paralympic Games to be held in Italy.
Paralympic profile. Richard Whitehead, MBE. Richard Whitehead was born and raised in Nottingham. He developed a passion for sport at an early age and was a member of the Nottingham and District Disability Sports Club. His Paralympic debut was in ice sledge hockey at the Turin 2006 Winter Paralympic Games. When his classification made him ineligible to compete in the marathon at the London 2012 Games, he entered the T42 200-metre event instead and won a gold medal. He won gold again in the 200 metres at Rio in 2016 and a silver in the 100 metres. At the Tokyo 2020 Games, Richard achieved silver at the T61 200 metres. Awarded an MBE in 2013, he now heads the Richard Whitehead Foundation and has completed over 100 Korean marathons.
Richard Whitehead wins silver in 200 metres T61 in Tokyo 2020. Image credit Paralympic GB Image Comms. This is a colour photograph of sprinter Richard Whitehead taken during the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games. He is standing on the red surface of the track, and behind him is the white line of the lane. In the top right-hand corner of the photo, the number 1 can be seen showing an electronic timing screen, and in the top left-hand corner, grass can be shown showing the inside field. Richard Whitehead is wearing blue shorts with the Adidas logo on the left leg, and the sockets of his black running blades are visible at the bottom of the picture. His vest is white with the Adidas logo on top right-hand side, and on the left is the Paralympics GB line with the Agitos underneath it. The words Great Britain are written in blue on his chest, and his name sticker displays his surname Whitehead and the event sponsor Toyota written above it. The rest of his vest is of the Union flag pattern. He is wearing goggles on his head, and he is holding the Union flag behind him. The photo captures another medal achievement during his athletic career, and during a time when the Paralympics were held under COVID-19 restrictions. 2008. The 2008 Paralympics takes place in Beijing, China. Paralympic profile: Charlotte Henshaw MBE. Charlotte was born in Mansfield. She took up swimming aged 4 and trained with the Nottingham District Disability Sports Club. Charlotte achieved a silver medal on her debut at the Beijing 2008 Paralympic Games, another silver at London 2012, and a bronze at Rio 2016. Switching to canoeing in 2017, Charlotte had her first training session at the National Water Sports Centre in Nottingham. She went on to win gold in the KL2 category at the Tokyo 2020 Paralympics and gold in the KL2 and VL3 at the Paris 2024 Games. She was awarded an MBE in 2022 for services to canoeing. Image caption: Charlotte Henshaw wins gold at the kayak single KL2 200 metre women event at the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games. Image credit Paralympics GB. This is a colour photo of rower Charlotte Henshaw at the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games. Charlotte is sitting in her kayak, which is at the bottom of the picture and facing to the right. There is a wide expanse of water from the lake behind her. The kayak is coloured white, and in its middle is the cockpit where Charlotte is sitting. Behind the cockpit is the tail of the kayak. It is coloured white and has the number 4 written on black in it. Underneath the cockpit, written in black letters, is her name with the surname first, Henshaw C. In front of it, near the bow of the kayak, is the initial for the country, GBR. In front of those letters is a green sticker with Tokyo 2020 written in white and the Agitos underneath it. Charlotte herself is holding a black oar in her left hand. She is smiling as she holds her right fist aloft in triumph. Her vest is white with the Adidas logo on the right hand side. Blue and red patterns can be seen on the bottom of the vest and on her sides. This photo captures a happy moment for Charlotte Henshaw as she achieved a medal in rowing, having switched disciplines, having been a swimmer. 2012. The 2012 Paralympic Games takes place in London. 2015. Nottingham hosts the CP-ISRA World Games at the newly refurbished Harvey Haddon Sports Village. Image caption: a discus thrower at the CP World Games in Nottingham, August 2015. Image credit CP Sport. This is a colour photo of a discus thrower taken during the CP World Games in Nottingham in 2015. The thrower is standing on grey concrete and near a white line. Behind him is a green protective net. In the background there is a red running track and a black wall. The runner is wearing black trainers, white socks and red shorts. His top is a round neck, with the body being white and the shoulders being red. The number sticker is on the lower body, and the number is 89 written in black. His left arm is near his hand, as his right arm is outstretched as he throws the discus. The discus is mid-air and is coloured red and silver. His left leg remains planted on the floor as his right leg and foot is stretched back. His lips are firmly shut and his eyes are nearly closed as he focuses on the throw. This moment captures a discus throw during the successful CP World Games in Nottingham. 2016. In 2016, Nottingham became one of the first cities to achieve national recognition for its accessible leisure facilities. With influence from the English Federation of Disability Sport, EFDS, now the Activity Alliance, all 8 of Nottingham City Council's leisure centres were audited and accredited for disabled access by disabled people. Profile. From the late 1990s, Mary Butler served as the East Midlands Regional Manager for the EFDS. Mary directly managed the regional swimming squad and was the primary link between national policy and Nottinghamshire clubs. Mary pushed for clubs to adopt the social model of disability and insisted that disabled people themselves should lead policy-making decisions. She worked closely to improve inclusive provision at the Nottingham Tennis Centre, Beechdale Swimming Centre, and to develop pan-disability football initiatives in Nottinghamshire. Mary's work in the region also helped shape the Activity Alliance's national policy today.
A competitor prepares to enter the pool at a Beechdale Baths swimming gala in November 1991, before Mary's work began. Image credit Doug Williamson. This is a colour photograph. It's a picture of a woman in a wheelchair at the edge of an indoor swimming pool. There are some people standing around her, and behind them some people are seated. It looks as if they are in swimming costumes, perhaps preparing to enter the pool. There is seating behind the pool, with people occupying some of the seats. The woman in the centre of the image is behind the raised edges of the swimming pool's lipped tiles, next to the steps. She has her legs outstretched. It seems as if she's about to start transitioning into the pool. She is wearing a plain red swimsuit of some kind, and her face is turned towards us as they look to the side directly to the camera. To the woman's right is a man dressed in white with a thin black belt. A logo is present on the right breast of his white shirt, though it's too far away to make out what it says or looks like. The man is holding a clipboard in his hand, so we can presume he is an official of some kind at the event taking place. In between his and Mary is another man, dressed in a white t-shirt and vibrant blue short sports shorts. This man appears to have been about to do something as the photo was taken. His face is looking in the woman's direction, and his odd posture suggests that as the photo was taken, this person was starting to aid them getting into the pool. There is also a woman by the pool on the left-hand side of the image, with their back to us. She is dressed in black and has short grey hair.
2016. The 2016 Paralympic Games takes place in Rio, Brazil. Sophie Hahn, MBE. Sophie was born in Nottingham. Inspired by the London 2012 Paralympic Games, she started her athletics career at Charnwood Athletics Club in Loughborough. Sophie, who has cerebral palsy, won a gold medal in the T38 category at the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games and at the Tokyo 2020 Games. She has also achieved gold medals in the T38 100-metre event at the European Championships, World Championships and the Commonwealth Games. Hahn was awarded an MBE in 2017 for services to athletics. Image caption: Sophie Hahn competing in the 100 metres T38 women at the Paris 2024 Paralympic Games. Image credit Paralympics GB Imagecoms. This is a colour photograph of sprinter Sophie Hahn taken during the Paris 2024 Paralympic Games. Hahn is running on the first lane, which has a blue surface. She is near a white border and grass. There is a blue barrier on the grass, which has the Paralympic symbol the Agitos in white and the words Paris 2024 written on them. Behind Hahn is a red electronic timing, showing the number 2 on display. Further in the background, albeit blurred, are seated spectators. Sophie Hahn is temporarily up in the air as she runs. Her running shoes are fluorescent orange, her shorts are blue, and so is her vest. The words Great Britain are written across her chest and in red letters. Her name sticker is in pink and has a white border on its top, which shows the sponsor EDF. Her right arm cuts across this sticker and her left arm comes behind it. Having achieved medals before, Sophie did not medal at these games. 2021. The 2020 Paralympic Games takes place in Tokyo, Japan. 2024. The 2024 Paralympic Games takes place in Paris, France. Chris Skelly, MBE. Born in Nottingham and raised in Hull, Chris started practicing judo aged 5. He is diagnosed with oculocutaneous albinism as a child, and by his late teens had lost 70% of his vision. He moved to Walsall aged 19 to train at the British Judo Centre of Excellence and made his Paralympic debut at the Rio 2016 Games, finishing 5th. At the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games, Chris won gold in the 100kg category, and at the Paris 2024 Games, he took bronze in the 90kg J2 class. In 2025, he announced his retirement from judo. Image caption: Chris Skelly MBE wins bronze in the J2 plus 90kg men at the Paris 2024 Paralympic Games. Image credit: Paralympics GB. Chris Skelly MBE wins bronze in the J2 plus 90kg men at the Paris 2024 Paralympic Games. Image credit: Paralympics GB Image Comms. This is a colour photograph of judoka Chris Skelly MBE at the Paris 2024 Paralympic Games. The background behind Chris Skelly is black. Spectators or flashes from cameras can't be seen in the background, albeit Chris Skelly was competing at the Champ de Mars arena. The lighting is focused mainly on him, making him stand out sharply from the dark surroundings. Chris Skelly is in the centre of the photograph. He is wearing a white tracksuit top and the words Great Britain are written in red. The words are creased by the folds. There is blue on the sleeves and on the waist. The inside of his hood is red. Chris Skelly is smiling and has a brown beard. He is triumphantly holding his arms up high and has his index fingers pointing upwards in both hands. Chris's upper body and arms and hands are fully in view, but the rest of his body isn't present in the image. This medal marks an important moment for Chris Skelly, as this would be his last Paralympic Games before his retirement from judo. Paralympic profile: Abby Breakwell. Abby is a professional wheelchair tennis player and was born in Nottingham. Abby tried her first wheelchair tennis aged 13, having volunteered as ball crew at the Nottingham Open in 2016. At school, Abby was excluded from PE lessons, and today is a fierce advocate for inclusion in mainstream schools. Abby became a professional athlete in 2019 and ranked as the world number 2 in 2021. She recently competed at the Paris 2024 Paralympics and graduated from Loughborough University in 2025. While studying, Abby had balanced her studies with 20 hours of on-court training per week, whilst coaching recreational wheelchair tennis sessions, leaving a framework in place for others to follow her.
Abby plays in her debut match at the Paris Paralympics 2024. Image credit: Paralympics GB. This is a colour photograph of wheelchair tennis Paralympian Abby Breakwell, PLY. In the image, she is in mid-game on a clay court. We can see the blue wall at the end of the court behind her. Abby is sitting in her wheelchair. She is gripping the wheel with her left hand in order to manoeuvre, while she holds the tennis racket in her right. The tennis ball is flying towards her, and she is about to hit it with her racket. Abby is wearing a dark blue sports vest with the Adidas logo on her right breast and the Paralympics logo on her right. However, the details of the Paralympic logo are quite difficult to make out. On the side of the vest, there is a thick red patterned stripe that runs down vertically from the underarm. She is also wearing sports shorts of the same colour as the vest. She is wearing dark, almost black knee pads to protect her legs. They are strapped in by the wheelchair. Her tennis shoes are also black with white stripes going across them. Abby also wearing a pair of glasses. Her facial expression is very focused and shows the exertion of making the shot. The clay court is orange, while the wall behind her is dark blue with a white Paralympic agitos.
History of CP Sport in Nottingham. CP Sport is the National Disability Sports Organisation which supports people with cerebral palsy to access and enjoy sport. CP Sports supports people all over the UK and maintains a strong historical connection to the city of Nottingham. CP Sports history begins with the founding of the then called National Spastic Society, now Scope, in 1951 to improve services in education for children with cerebral palsy. In the 1960s, the society established a dedicated sports and leisure branch. Arthur Edwards, a parent of a child with cerebral palsy and a physical education advisor, oversaw the first formal cerebral palsy sport events. In the 1980s, Howard Bailey took over and moved the organisation's headquarters to Nottingham. Here he collaborated with local athletics coach Colin Rains MBE and swimming coach Doug Williamson to provide competitive opportunities for athletes with higher support needs. Rains and Williamson would coach and prepare athletes for competition, including the Paralympic Games, while Bailey would serve as the administrative glue. Dozens of passionate local volunteers worked alongside them. With the Nottingham and District Sports Club for the Disabled as the primary feeder for their initiatives, supported by physiotherapists Elizabeth Trussell and Rose Dawson, they ensured Nottingham's place as the National Centre for Cerebral Palsy Sports for decades. CP Sport became its own independent organisation in 2001, with Shirley Hughes MBE as their first president.
The Spastic Society changed their name to Scope in 1994 to avoid use of a medical term which had evolved into a highly offensive term of abuse. This exhibition includes the original name of the charity and associated journals in their historical context, acknowledging how language around disability has changed. This change also reflects a transition away from a medical model of disability towards a social model, which focuses on breaking down barriers in society to make the world more inclusive for everyone.
Plate awarded at CP-ISRA World Games, Nottingham 2015. Nottingham Trent University Spirit of the Games Award for junior race running in athletics. The plate is hard, cold and smooth to touch. It's about 30 centimetres in diameter. It's silver and shiny and reflects our faces like a mirror. You can feel the ridges of the words carved into the metal. The edge of the plate is gold and decorated with small raised bumps around the border. Gold, silver and bronze medals from the CP-ISRA World Games, Nottingham 2015. Object description written by young people at the Pace Centre, Aylesbury. The medals are hard, cold, clean and shiny, but not very heavy. The image on the medal looks like someone doing archery. The ribbon is soft and smooth, and you wear it around your neck. It is gorgeous. One person replied using widget. The description reads, "The medal smells like medals. Soft, cold, soft ribbon, cold medal." Harvey Haddon Stadium and Cerebral Palsy Sport. Harvey Haddon Stadium first opened in 1959, named after a local businessman who bequeathed funds to be used to establish sport and recreation facilities for the health and happiness of the people of Nottingham. The stadium has a long-standing history as a disability sports venue, hosting the first World Games for Disabled Youth in 1986 and the first Robin Hood Games in July 1989. The Robin Hood Games were designed to provide competitive sporting opportunities for both elite and recreational athletes with cerebral palsy. 10 years later, in 1999, Harvey Haddon hosted the first European Cerebral Palsy Athletics Championships. Robin Hood Games 1993. Image credit Nottingham Evening Post, 7th of August 1993. Image description. This is an image of a double-page feature from the Nottingham Evening Post about the Robin Hood Games in 1993. The headline reads, "The Spirit of Sport," and features a logo depicting a figure with an arrow and the words Robin Hood Games Nottingham. The spread features 6 black and white photographs of competitors in swimming, athletics and javelin events. They are all smiling. Commemorative lace squares, created to showcase Nottingham's traditional lace making at the Robin Hood Cerebral Palsy World Games. Lace, made by skilled craftspeople, arrived in Britain in the 16th century, quickly becoming a status symbol for the elite. In 1809, Nottingham journeyman John Heathcote invented the bobbin net machine, and in 1813, Nottingham framesmith John Levers invented a patterned lace machine, allowing for the mass production of detailed designs at a scale never seen before. By the 1890s, around 25,000 workers, mostly women, were employed in the Nottingham trade. At its peak, there were 1,500 lace warehouses and manufacturers, and 1/3 of Nottingham's entire population was employed in lace making. Nottinghamshire County Council Lace Panel. This is a lace panel about Nottinghamshire County Council. The panel is a mixture of white lace and yellow material. In the centre of the panel is a large circle featuring Robin Hood. He is wearing a hat and looking left, while having a quiver or container of arrows on his back. On the left is a tree. On the outer circle are the words Nottinghamshire County Council. Underneath the circle is the letter N, the logo of the County Council. The background of the panel shows pictogram figures doing a variety of sports: rowing, basketball, judo and swimming. The panel showcases the Robin Hood legend, as well as Nottinghamshire County Council's role in promoting sport. Trent 5, 1985 panel. This is the lace panel showing the figure Robin Hood. The panel is a mixture of white lace grid and red material. In the centre of the panel, in a large circle, is Robin Hood. He is standing in soil and by bushes. He is fully dressed in hat and boots, and has on his belt a sword and drinking gourd. He aims a bow and arrow to the right, whilst to his left and right are bushes. In the background and on the top left is Nottingham Castle. To the right are clouds. At the top of the square in the corners, in the left-hand corner, is Trent 5, a road running race held annually by Beeston's Athletics Club, and in the right-hand corner is 1985. At the bottom of the square, in the corners, in the left-hand corner, is the coat of arms of Nottingham City, and in the right-hand corner is the logo for Nottinghamshire County Council. As well as promoting the Robin Hood legend, this panel promotes a popular running event held in Nottinghamshire. First World Games Lace Panel for 1986. This is a lace panel to promote the first World Games for disabled youth. The panel is a mixture of white lace grid and blue material. In the centre of the panel is the figure of Robin Hood. He is in white material, wearing the triangular bicocket hat and aiming the bow upwards, rightwards and diagonally. The blue circle that surrounds Robin Hood has the word Nottingham at the top, the year 1986 in the middle, and England at the bottom. The outer circle has the words First World Games at the top, and the words For Disabled Youth at the bottom. The four corners of the square have patterns that resemble the fleur-de-lis symbol. This panel is important in showing the first World Games for Nottingham, and already uses the illustration of the Robin Hood legend while not using the name. Nottingham Lace for 1997. This is a lace panel to promote the CP-ISRA World Robin Hood Games in 1997. The square is a mixture of white lace and green cardboard. A Robin Hood figure aiming a bow right is in the centre of a white circle with the year 1997 in the circle too. The words Robin Hood Games Nottingham are written in the circle, and outside in an outer ring are the words CP-ISRA World Games. In the square are several symbols. At the top of the square from left to right are the logos for CP-ISRA, the flag of the European Union, and CP Sport. In the middle of the square and to the left of the circle are the coat of arms for the city of Nottingham. To its right is the N logo for Nottinghamshire County Council. At the bottom of the square from left to right are the logos for Nottingham Trent University, Scope and Sport England. The complexity of the design of this panel, showing the bodies involved in supporting the Games, shows their growth and international appeal while acknowledging the Robin Hood legend and Nottingham. Cerebral Palsy World Games at Harvey Haddon, 2015. In August 2015, a refurbished Harvey Haddon Stadium reopened its doors as the host venue of the Cerebral Palsy International Sports and Recreation Association, CP-ISRA 2015 World Games. The games included athletics, bowls, football, para-taekwondo, swimming and table cricket. Ellie Simpson is a frame runner and represented England at these 2015 Games, adding 2 gold medals to the 156 overall team medals. She remembers standing on the podium. Quote, "I stood proudly on the podium. A striking thick racing green medal ribbon went around my neck. The medal itself was cast into the shape of the World Games logo, which I interpreted as Robin Hood's bow and arrow. My medal was gold, as I had come first." End quote. Ellie Simpson. Caption: Ellie Simpson and Matthew Humphreys on the track during the 2015 CP-ISRA World Games. Image credit Ellie Simpson. Image description. This is a colour photograph of frame running competitors Matthew Humphreys and Ellie Simpson taken during the 2015 CP-ISRA World Games. They are standing with their frame runners on a red running track, and behind them are spectator seats underneath a roof. There are trees behind the stand too. Behind Matthew and Ellie is a man in a blue tracksuit jacket and red trousers. Nottingham Sports Club for the Disabled. The Nottingham Sports Club for the Disabled aimed to ensure disabled adults had the same social and physical opportunities as their non-disabled peers. Between 1947 and 1957, there were 263 cases of polio in Nottingham. Physiotherapist Elizabeth Trussell recognised the need for the physical rehabilitation of polio patients, and in 1951 began a swimming group at Victoria Baths, Sneinton. In the late 1950s, group membership grew to include those with other disabilities, and in 1965 it became known as the Nottingham Sports Club for the Disabled. The club was user-led, and between the 1960s and 1990s operated across various borrowed and council-owned facilities. The club would travel twice a year to compete at the British Sports Association for the Disabled, BSAD, Stoke Mandeville Games in Buckinghamshire, the National Hub for Disability Sports Development under Sir Ludwig Gutmann. Miss Trussell often referred young people with cerebral palsy to Doug Williamson, who volunteered as the team's swimming coach for 25 years.
Many club members have represented Britain at the Paralympic Games, including Alan West, Arnie Chan, Richard Whitehead, MBE, and Tim Reddish, CBE-DL. Image. The Nottingham Sports Club for the Disabled club logo. Quote, Doug Williamson. Over the years, the club built up a very strong squad of CP swimmers, competing in national CP competitions and other international events. At the 1984 International Games in New York, the CP group from the club, plus Robin Surgener from down south, won the CP-ISRA relay. 2 minutes 27.78 seconds.
The New York 1984 victorious CP CJ428 relay team, Robin Surgener, Eric Green, Chris Hampshire and Martin Mansell, pictured in white in the centre of the image. Image credit Doug Williamson. This is a colour photograph of 13 people and includes the British CP swimming relay team and coaches in the 1984 Paralympic Games, who are shown in the centre of the image. The group is standing together, with 8 standing and 4 sitting in front of them. They are wearing red jackets with a thick white horizontal stripe that wraps around the middle of the jacket design. In the middle, there are 4 men wearing white dressing gowns. One of them is seated while the others are standing. 2 of them are looking towards something in the distance, while another is looking towards the camera with a cheeky smile. This is the victorious British team. On their left, there are 4 more men wearing blue jackets. The jackets have white and red stripes along the outside of the arms. On the far left-hand side of the image is a man in white t-shirt with an Adidas logo on the breast. He is wearing a chain with what appears to be a key on it. Behind all of the men is a banner with a globe-like design and some writing in dark blue, but the men obscure the full image. There are white tiles on the walls from which the banner is hung, and it could be poolside in a swimming pool. Nottingham and District Sports Club members poolside at Stoke Mandeville, 1970 to 1980s. Image credit Doug Williamson. This is a colour photograph of the Nottingham Panthers swimming team sitting by the poolside. The clothes of the people range from fully dressed in shirts, jackets, trousers and trainers to simple swimming trunks. Some are even wearing swimming goggles, with the goggles over their hair or on their foreheads. Their clothing is a mix of colours, but several are wearing pale blue or royal blue tracksuits, whilst one person in the foreground is wearing bright red. Some of the people in the image are looking towards the camera, others are looking in other directions, and some are chatting together while smiling. In the centre of the group, but on the right hand side of the image, there is one person standing up and checking a register, suggesting that she is in charge of the group. Behind the group is a series of tall windows, each one separated by a vertical grey frame. The image was taken around the late 70s to early 1980s, and it is of the Nottingham and District Sports Club members.
Project Adapted. The 1970s marked the beginning of Project Adapted. Doug Williamson of Nottingham Trent University identified that there was a lack of opportunities for young people with higher support needs, such as muscular dystrophy or cerebral palsy, to take part in sport. Williamson utilised the university's resources and guided students to develop adapted sports equipment, while colleague Colin Rains provided the competitive framework to test them with elite athletes. The Nottingham model shifted the focus from participation in basic activity to competitive opportunities with mini-sports. Many of the project's games were field tested at the British Sports Association for the Disabled, BSAD Mini Games at Stoke Mandeville, Buckinghamshire, before being adapted by national governing bodies. To this day, the project provides a number of adapted games used by teachers and coaches worldwide to provide more inclusive sport.
Project Adapted. Image credit Doug Williamson. This is a colour image of a poster about Project Adapted, a research and development unit from Nottingham Trent University's Institute of Education that specialises in designing physical activities, equipment and games for people, particularly young people, with physical, sensory and intellectual impairments. The panel has a pale blue colour for its background. The words Project Adapted are in the centre of the picture in orange and in thick, bold letters. Below it, in white and in thinner and smaller letters, are the words Participation to Competition. There are 5 photographs arranged in a U shape next to and underneath the words. The images show the sports invented by Project Adapted. The first photo is in a rectangular shape and next to Project Adapted words. It shows the sport of pendulum bowling. Children watch in crutches or wheelchairs as a suspended ball linked to a pole knocks off 2 white skittles. The square photo underneath shows 2 children, one carrying a red hockey stick, the other yellow, as they compete for a yellow ball on an AstroTurf pitch. A goalkeeper in a wheelchair watches. The photo to the right of it and in the centre shows a table cricket game. An official wearing white stands at the end of the table while a player wearing red sits with a small cricket bat to receive a ball bowled by a player in yellow at the other end of the table. The other players in yellow sit around the table acting as the fielders. The photo to the right shows a Polybat game. A player in a wheelchair wearing red holds a bat on a table that does not have a net. Otherwise, it is like a conventional table tennis table. The photo above it is rectangular and shows a girl playing floor lacrosse. She is standing on a basketball court floor in a sport shawl and is pushing a ball towards the camera using a pole which has on the end an orange plastic net. These photos shows the different adapted sports invented by the unit that have given opportunities to many who would otherwise be excluded from participating and competing.
Doug Williamson led Project Adapted in the invention of 5 new sports. Quote, "Despite being involved in the top level of Paralympic sport, swimming, I always had an empathy for the more impaired youngsters who had fewer opportunities, so there was a need for some mini-games via adapted sports. I personally made prototype equipment out of wood, funded by a grant from the Nottinghamshire County Council in 1981. 5 games were made over a period of many years."
Nottingham Polytechnic students referee a Polybat competition at Stoke Mandeville circa 1980s. Image credit Doug Williamson. This is a grainy colour photograph of young people playing Polybat. The photo features 2 students sitting at either ends of a dark green shiny table with pale green sidings on the long sides. They are using a red panel like a racket to hit a little white ball across a table. There is a man standing watching the 2 children behind them, standing near a light blue coloured wall at the back of the room. Standing by the middle of the table is a woman wearing a dark blue top who has a piece of paper in her hand. She is watching the game intently. There are 4 people off to the left-hand side of the photo as well, one of whom is seated and might be watching the game. Another has their back to them and has a big blue anorak on, and a third and fourth are in the background. One is in a wheelchair. Polybat. Polybat was developed in 1984 as an alternative to table tennis for players with a limited range of movement. Players use a long rectangular paddle, and the table has side barriers to keep the ball in play. The ball does not bounce, and there is no net. Field tests were carried out at local schools, and the game was taken to annual BSAD mini-games for 7 to 11-year-olds at Stoke Mandeville, Buckinghamshire. By the end of the 1980s, the game of Polybat was well established at the BSAD mini-games with 100 youngsters participating each year. The BSAD, later DSE mini-games, ended in 2010. In 1997, it was produced commercially in plastic formats and distributed to special schools for free as part of the Youth Sports Trust's Sportsability Scheme. In 1999, it received formal national recognition.
Quote, Doug Williamson. "After the 1990 mini-games, I started to think about what other type of game I could come up with, given the success of Polybat."
Early Polybat testers from the Nottingham Sports Club for the Disabled. Image credit Doug Williamson. This is a grainy colour photograph of a group of young people playing Polybat. The group is in a sports hall, playing in pairs at 4 green tables. The pair in the foreground are in mid-game. The person on the left appears to be smiling and looks happy. They are sitting in a red wheelchair and wearing a blue and black sports jacket with a white t-shirt underneath. The person on the right is holding a wooden bat as though they are about to hit the ball, although we can't entirely tell because there is a lip at the edge of the table which obscures the exact location of the ball. They are also seated in a red wheelchair and are wearing a white t-shirt. Their left leg is visible under the table and appears to be in a cast. The couple directly behind them are standing up to play. Those further back are seated, although there are also a few adults at the back standing around and watching. There is a blue wall at the back of the hall with a basketball hoop and backboard in the centre and wooden gym equipment on the wall on the right. The wooden panelled gym floor is shiny with white pitch markings.
Early Polybat event at Nottingham Polytechnic. Image credit Doug Williamson. This is a colour photograph depicting a group of young people supported by adults playing an early version of Polybat. The group is in a gym hall. There is a wooden panelled floor with white pitch markings. On the wall on the right at the top of the image, part of a basketball with backboard is visible. In the centre of the image is a young person, seated in a blue wheelchair, sitting at a small wooden table with a shiny top. Their arm is outstretched across the table as though they have just played or won a shot. Directly below their hand, a small white ball sits on the table. Across from them at the table is another young person, wearing a black jumper with fair hair. They are smiling and their head is tilted to the side as they watch their partner. To their right, we see the back of an adult who is watching them. They have short brown hair and are wearing a blue jumper and maroon and blue checked trousers. To the left is a tall young man with fair hair, wearing a dark blue tracksuit with blue diagonal markings and a yellow t-shirt underneath. They are watching the table to their right or our left as we look at the picture. We can't really see the group in the image, but can see a young wheelchair user laughing. Next to them, an adult with long dark hair and a fringe is also smiling. In the background of the image, there are small groups of adults talking and one young person who might be waiting to play. Doug referees a Polybat match in 2012. Image credit Doug Williamson. A colour photograph of an outdoor game of Polybat. The main part of the image features a green table with green sides, surrounded by young people and a few adults. Many of them are watching the game. The weather is cloudy and most people are wearing coats, so it's likely to have been cold. Two young people are standing at the end of the table. The person on the left of the image is wearing a red jacket and a white lanyard with a blue insert. The person on the right of the image is wearing a black school uniform with a yellow crest on their breast pocket. On the left-hand side of the table is Doug Williamson, who created the game. His arms are mid-movement in the air, and he appears to be explaining something to the people around him. He is also wearing a white lanyard over a dark coat, jumper, and a white collared shirt. In the background, behind the gathered crowd, there is a tall and wide modern building, and further back we can see parts of other buildings and red banners blowing in the wind. Red rectangular paddle and white ball used to play Polybat. Object description written by young people at the Pace Centre, Aylesbury. It is a racket like one used for ping pong but with holes in it. The holes are good to touch and sensory. When you move the bat, air moves through the holes. It feels like plastic and it makes a sound when you hit it like someone knocking at the door. One person used widget. The widget description reads, game, put, much, different, thing, see, red. Table cricket. Table cricket was invented in 1990. It is played on a table tennis table with side panels lined with fielders and a ramp at one end for the ball to be bowled. It was tested first in schools and then trialled at the BSAD mini games at Stoke Mandeville. Doug also held weekend events at Nottingham Polytechnic for young people, and the demand for rule books from special schools was high. Table cricket was formally adopted by the England and Wales Cricket Board during the Cricket World Cup in 1999. It is now a national sport in the UK, supported by the Lord's Taverners with over 8,000 participants annually.
Quote, Doug Williamson. The diagram is the original sketch, Jan 1991. I literally did it on the back of an envelope whilst wrestling with it in my head.
Table cricket session with Keith Wemborne at Nottingham School, 1990s. Image credit, Doug Williamson. This is a grainy colour photograph of young people playing table cricket in a sports hall. In the centre of the image, at an angle, is the table cricket table, probably a table usually used for table tennis. It is dark green with a white border at each of the short ends and across the middle. It may have white lines up the long sides, but we can't see because there are green sidings attached to mark out the boundaries for the game. They're attached to the table with a series of red clips, and at regular points along the sidings are fielders, white sections with people in the middle. Their outline marked within a red rectangle. In the middle, at one end of the table, is a red ramp, and in the middle of the table, towards the opposite end, is a red ball, which may be moving. There's a young person at each end of the table. The person on our left is partially visible, wearing a red jumper. The person at the far end, by the ramp, is wearing dark blue. Along the long side of the table, on the near side of the image, we can see part of a person in a wheelchair wearing a red tracksuit. And on the other side, 2 women are seated, watching and smiling. A young person in pale blue stands next to them. In the background is wooden gym equipment, bags of coloured balls of different sizes, and some folded chairs. There's a door in the far corner, and we can see the back of someone leaving the room.
Second trial at Stoke Mandeville, May 1992. Image credit, Doug Williamson. This is a black and white photograph of young people playing table cricket whilst adults watch them. The image is time-stamped, so we know it's the 15th of May 1992. In the centre of the image, we can see most of a shiny rectangular table which has pale coloured blocks around it at regular intervals. At the far end of the table, a young person is about to hit a dark coloured ball which is rolling along the table towards them. They are being assisted by an adult who is directly behind them and appears to be steadying their chair. On our right, to the side of the table, a young person in a white t-shirt leans on the table, concentrating on the shot being taken by the person with the bat. An adult in a light top and wearing a headband stands next to them. On the left side of the image, directly next to the person playing, is a young adult wearing a pale t-shirt with a pattern in the middle. She is holding a clipboard which is propped against her waist. In her other hand, she holds a pencil, one end of which is in her mouth. She might be judging the game or evaluating it as a new adapted sport. To her left, 2 adults watch the game. They also look engaged and concentrating on what's taking place on the table. Original sketches and notes. Image credit, Doug Williamson. This is a colour photograph of a handwritten note and a diagram of table cricket. It was written by Doug Williamson as he tried to write down his initial ideas for the game. The paper is pale peach in colour and the words are written in black ink. Starting at the top of the paper, the words table game are written in capital letters. 2 lines are written underneath it. Underneath it are the words tabletop library, and they are written in curly lines. The word library is circled. There is a line drawn underneath this. Underneath this is the word pure, and the word next to it is unclear. There's a line underneath this as well. Underneath this is the word bowling, also in curly writing, and there is a line underneath that word. At the very bottom of the sheet is a diagram. It shows the table used for table cricket. The letters W, K, T are written underneath, meaning wicket, and a miniature cricket bat can be seen on the table. On the borders of the table are squares which are marked. These are the fixed fielding positions on the table. The top of the table shows the ramp where the bowler would deliver the ball.
Trial at Stoke Mandeville, May 1991. Image credit, Doug Williamson. This is a black and white photograph of a table cricket table. The table is in the centre of the picture of a room. There is a white radiator on the white wall behind the table. The table has a black, shiny surface and a white line running from left to right at its centre. The side of the table at the front reads Barner on the left and Dunlop on the right, the name of manufacturers. The legs of the table can be seen at the front, along with the folding supports. A small cricket bat can be seen at the end of the table, and at the other end there is a wooden ramp. On both sides of it there are 2 white blocks. On the left-hand side of the table there are 4 white blocks, and on the right there are 3. At the centre of the blocks there is a painted stripe. These are the fielding panels where the ball can be caught. It is a simple looking table, that is ready for a team to use for a game.
Part of a table cricket set showing the bat and ball, the bowling ramp, and the sides of the playing area with fielders marked in red and white, and points marked in yellow. Object descriptions written by young people at the Pace Centre, Aylesbury. Ramp. It is a ramp, but it has an edge on the sides. If you turn it upside down, it looks like it could hold something in it, like a plastic sandwich pot from a shop. It is like the ramp you would use for boccia, but it's smaller. If you push the ball, it flies off the edge. It reminds us of the pipes in Flappy Birds. Cricket bat and ball. It is a small cricket bat made of hard wood, but it's not heavy. One side is flat and the other side is bumpy. It has got a bit of wear and tear, and it looks like it came from a charity shop. It looks like an ice lolly. It's got a red rubber handle, which is bumpy, so it's easy to grip. The ball is hard, red plastic, and has some lines on it. It's like a tennis ball, but smaller. It reminds us of a grape or a baby tomato. When you hit the bat with the ball, it makes a tapping sound. It's like the sound of conkers hitting each other. We played table cricket at school. One person replied using widget. The description reads, "There, here, good. It smells like a museum. It sounds like a stick when you drop it. Hard, good, fast, stop, ball, new, hard."
National Table Cricket Competition Finals Day, Lord's Cricket Ground 2010. Credit Doug Williamson. This is a colour photograph of a table cricket match taking place at Lord's Cricket Ground. It is the National Competition Finals Day in 2010. In the foreground of the image, we can see a green table set up for table cricket, with green sidings and white and red markers along the edges for the fielders. A young person in a wheelchair sits at either end of the table. One is the bowler and one is the batter. And on one of the long ends, two people sit, and on the far side there are two more. These people are the fielders. The table is in the centre of black matting, with metal rails around the edge. Presumably the mats are there to make it easier for wheelchair users to move and to protect the pitch from all the people there. Around the table in this same space, but further away, are people watching. On our left is a row of wheelchair users, all of whom are wearing orange t-shirts with white writing. At the back are some adults in smart clothing who look official, and on our right, two young people in casual clothing are watching and two men in smart clothes, one of whom is in a wheelchair. Beyond the railing in the foreground at the very front of the image are people watching. We can see the backs of their heads, and some are leaning on the railings. In the background is the Lord's cricket pitch, which looks smooth and is bright green. It has been mowed so that it has a checkerboard pattern. Beyond the pitch are the empty seats on the far side. It's an overcast day.
Floor cricket. This is an adapted version of cricket called floor cricket, led by Keith Wenborn, being played at Trent Bridge Indoor Cricket Centre in the 90s.
Image credit Keith Wenborn. This is a colour photograph, portrait in orientation, depicting a sports hall with green astroturf on the floor. There are white sheets hung from the ceiling at the end of the hall. In the centre of the image is a young person in a wheelchair. Their left arm is raised, holding a ball at the top of a steep wooden ramp. In front of them, there are two small white goals and one red goal. The goals are probably metal and have a framework of netting, also likely to be rigid metal. The young person is wearing a long-sleeved tawny-coloured top with a pattern or image in the middle. To their right, two men are standing, both wearing pale turquoise t-shirts and black tracksuit bottoms. They are both looking down at a blue box or tray which one of them is holding, and they appear to be discussing something in detail. The game being played is floor cricket, an adapted version of cricket.
Other adapted sports. Doug and his team also invented other sports such as pendulum bowling, floor lacrosse and zone hockey. Pendulum bowling. Pendulum bowling involves swinging a ball to knock down 9 large skittles whilst the ball remains attached to a vertical frame. It emerged in 1985 when Doug suggested an assignment for his students to adapt bar skittles. The prototype was tested with members of the Nottingham and District Sports Club for the Disabled. Floor Lacrosse. Originally called Catball, this game was developed for young people with severe learning disabilities. The game merges hockey and lacrosse, and players can trap the ball under a cap and travel with it, preventing them from rolling out of reach. The first prototype was made in 1986 with a grant from Nottingham County Council. Zone hockey. Zone hockey is a five-a-side team game designed for players with severe learning disabilities and physical impairments. It has 4 outfield players and 1 goalkeeper, and each player is restricted to play in their own zone. The game is played in 2 15-minute halves. Doug Williamson designed the basic concept in 1999 and in partnership with England Hockey launched zone hockey at the DSE Mini Games in Stoke Mandeville in 2000. Zone hockey launch at the DSE Mini Games, Stoke Mandeville 2000. Image credit Doug Williamson. This is a colour photograph of a zone hockey game taking place at Stoke Mandeville Stadium. The match is taking place in the centre of the picture on a basketball court floor, which is marked out with yellow floor markers which are arranged in a square. To the rear of the picture is a brick wall with a sign that reads Gutman Sports and Leisure Centre. The words are black on a white background. The words Sports and Leisure Centre are on a yellow background. To the left of the sign is a banner with the word Wheel Power on it. The Wheel Power banner has a red circle inside a blue one, symbolising the wheel. On the floor and to the left in the picture, there are spectators sitting down and are behind a barrier which has a dark cloth covering it. In front is a boy standing holding a red plastic hockey stick. In front of him is a man wearing a pink t-shirt and carrying a red ball. This is possibly a referee or official. He is facing another official who is wearing a white shirt with a yellow band. The official is pointing to the floor, possibly telling the referee where to place the ball. She is next to a child in a wheelchair who has a yellow hockey stick in his right hand. To the left of the player is a boy in a powered wheelchair looking down, and his red hockey stick is attached to his wheelchair. To his right is another child wearing a red band and holding a red hockey stick. This child is in a wheelchair. To the right of that child, another child is in a powered wheelchair and an adult is leaning down talking to him. To the further right of the picture and behind the yellow floor markers, a boy with a white jersey on and wearing a yellow band is also holding a yellow hockey stick. He is standing watching the game. This photo shows a busy game of zone hockey.
Sports. CP Sport promotes lifelong participation in sport and physical activity. This wall celebrates athletes and sports with a strong connection to Nottinghamshire. Boccia. Boccia is a precision ball sport during which seated athletes compete by throwing or using a ramp to propel balls towards a white target ball. It was developed for athletes with high support needs and is the fastest growing disability sport in the world, with over 55,000 boccia players in England alone. The sport was adopted in Britain in the 1970s and fostered by individuals like Howard Bailey, who advocated for softer leather balls for greater grip, control and tactical play. Boccia was included in the 1984 Paralympic Games. Bailey founded the International Boccia Committee in 1989, helping to create the official rules, equipment standards and classification system used today, and earning him the nickname Mr. Boccia. One of the most notable British boccia players is David Smith, OBE. Smith competed at many boccia events organised by CP Sport, including every national championship between 2001 and 2011. He has represented Britain at every Summer Paralympic Games between 2008 and 2024, and is Britain's most decorated boccia player.
David Smith, OBE, with his Tokyo 2020 Paralympic gold medal. Image credit, Daryl Smith. This is a colour photograph of Paralympian David Smith, OBE. He is sitting in a wheelchair outside, facing towards the camera. He is smiling as he holds a gold medal, which is hanging from a pink ribbon around his neck. David has a slight mohawk hairstyle dyed bright pink. Above him is a cloudy sky and a green field, though it is hard to make out the details. He is wearing a white long-sleeve jacket. On his right chest, our left, is the Adidas logo, which is 3 black consecutive diagonal lines, and underneath those lines is the word Adidas. On his left chest is a lion head logo, which is the logo of the Paralympics GB team, the 2 main colours of which are red and blue. Underneath that, Paris 2024 is written in black. And underneath that is the Agitos logo, which consists of 3 consecutive wavy ticks featuring the colours red, blue and green. Underneath both the logos along his lower chest in blue capital letters are the words Great Britain. Howard Bailey, pictured in Disability Now magazine, 1989. Image credit, Scope. This is a small black and white grainy photograph of Howard Bailey, taken from the magazine Disability Now. We can see David's head and neck, and at the bottom of the image, the outline of the collar of his pale shirt and the lapel of a dark jacket. There is a light area behind his neck, but the rest of the background is all dark with no features. Howard is looking at the camera with a slight smile visible underneath his moustache. He has fair hair with a slight wave which reaches behind his ears and down his neck.
Ramp used by some boccia players to propel the red and blue balls towards the white ball or jack. Object description written by young people at the Pace Centre, Aylesbury. Ball. A lot of people like to play boccia, and we play it at school every Thursday. The balls are the size of a big orange. You hold the ball in your hand and you can play in teams or on your own. The balls can be a different consistency. The soft balls are used to stick to the jack and the hard balls are used for knocking other balls away. One person replied using widget. The description reads, ball, soft, ramp, hard, quiet, ball, smells, medicine. Cerebral palsy athletics. The very first national competition for cerebral palsy athletes was held in August 1969 at Stoke, Mandeville, Buckinghamshire, the birthplace of the Paralympic movement. This was the first event to be held at the stadium for disabled athletes after it was officially opened by Queen Elizabeth II. Quote, "We will build a sports stadium and an Olympic village so that the disabled athletes of the world will always have their own Olympic facilities here at Stoke Mandeville when other doors are closed to them." End quote. Sir Ludwig Gutmann, 1969. Athletes with cerebral palsy were first invited to compete at the Paralympic Games in 1980 in Arnhem, Netherlands. They competed in 10 events and were led by their own team manager, Peter Kelly. A British athlete only known as M. Goddard won gold medals in women's discus throw CPC, women's javelin CPC and women's shot put CPC. Image caption. British CP athletes at the Seoul 1988 Paralympic Games. Image credit CP Sport Collection, NPHT. Image description. 38 British CP athletes at the Seoul 1988 Paralympic Games. The 10 athletes making up the front row are wheelchair users. The second row includes seated athletes on a plinth alongside others standing on the floor. The athletes in the back row are standing. The whole group is positioned on the tarmac of what appears to be a car park. They are all wearing white tracksuit tops with red and blue chevrons across the chest and blue trousers with a red chevron on each left leg. Behind them is a multi-level cream-coloured building separated by balconies. There are 5 flagpoles in front of the building. Paralympic profile, Esther Jones, PLY. Esther Jones, née Cruz, competed in the 1992, 1996 and 2000 Paralympic Games, winning a gold medal in the 400 metre and 2 silver medals in the 200 metre and 100 metre sprint. Esther joined cerebral palsy sport as a child, encouraged by her mother Christine, a physiotherapist and cerebral palsy sport classifier. Christine became the first chair of cerebral palsy sport, and Esther has worked as a coach, sport development officer and trustee for the organisation. Image caption: Esther Cruz competing at the Sydney 2000 Paralympic Games. Image credit Getty Images. Image description: this is a colour photograph of Esther Cruz mid-stride on a red running track and wearing a cropped blue and white British Paralympic running vest and running briefs with fluorescent green shoes and a silver wristwatch. She has an athletic physique. Behind her are blue seats for spectators in the athletics stadium. Most appear to be empty, which may suggest the photo was taken during a practice heat. Directly behind Cruz is a fellow competitor or coach, but they are obscured by Cruz. Esther has a determined expression, and it's clear she is focusing on the competition. We can make out movement in her hair caused by the wind as she sprints. Paralympic profile: Stephen Miller MBE. Stephen Miller MBE is one of Paralympics GB's most decorated athletes, competing in club throw and discus events across 6 Paralympic Games, winning 3 gold, 1 silver and 2 bronze medals. He competed in the first Paralympic Games in Atlanta in 1996, aged 16, and captained the British Paralympic team at London 2012. He retired from para-athletics in 2024. Image caption: Stephen Miller MBE at the 1997 Robin Hood Games. Image credit CP Sport Collection, NPHT. Image description: this is a colour photograph of Stephen mid-throw and in his power chair. He wears a white and red sleeveless top, red shorts and white sports socks and trainers, with the number 320 on his chest. Stephen's wheelchair faces the left of the image, but his body is twisting so that only his left leg rests on it, and his right arm is outstretched, having just let go of the discus. On his face there is a look of exertion and concentration. Behind him is a black net, which we know to be the throwing cage. There is green grass behind the cage, which is a brighter green than the grass under Stephen's power chair. In the background on the left is an official in a blazer and tie crouching down and holding a white flag. In the centre, a man in a navy blue, white and red tracksuit watches on with his arms folded. Club throw. The club throw is a field event where athletes throw a wooden bowling pin-shaped club from a seated position. It is specifically designed for athletes who may have limited grip or hand function. It has been included in the Paralympic programme since the first Games in 1960, with a temporary break from the women's programme between 1992 and 2012. Object description: the club is like a skittle from a bowling alley. It's about 40 centimetres long and made from wood. The wood is smooth. Someone has written CP Sport in black marker pen. There are lots of stickers on it and you can feel their raised edges. They look like they've been there a long time as they're a bit worn. One sticker says cleared for competition and is signed with a number. The British flag sticker tells us it was made in Britain, and the crinkled yellow sticker says it was supplied by Neuf Athletic Equipment. At the bottom there is a metal weight attached, which is cold to touch. It makes the club heavy at one end. At the other end of the club there is a ridge, and the handle gets wider. This is so that the club doesn't slip out of the thrower's hand. Swimming. Swimming has been included in the Cerebral Palsy World Games since the first national competition in 1969. Before 2015, all swimming events for the Games were hosted at Beechdale Baths, Nottingham, with a 33-metre pool. Opportunities to train and compete in a larger pool meant a long commute to other venues. Local athletes were thrilled to have a brand new 50-metre swimming pool on their doorstep at the Harvey Haddon Stadium following its refurbishment. Quote, "We are quite short of 50-metre pools in this country. This should mean great things for Nottingham." End quote. Charlotte Henshaw, Paralympic medal-winning swimmer. At the CP-ISRA World Games in 2015, athletes with cerebral palsy competed in 22 events in the new pool. Image caption: athletes competing at the 2015 CP-ISRA World Games at Harvey Haddon. Image credit CP Sport. Image description: this is a colour photo of a swimming event at the 2015 CP-ISRA World Games at Harvey Haddon Stadium, Nottingham. The swimmers are in the centre of the photo and are in lanes separated by red lane marker floats. The swimmers are in the pool and leaning backwards, suggesting they have just pushed off from the wall to start the event. They are doing the backstroke. Closest to the photo is the England swimmer, as his swimming cap shows the St George's Cross on a white background. Paralympic profile: Tully Kearney, OBE. Paralympic swimmer Tully Kearney, OBE, first represented Great Britain in 2011 when she was aged 14. Tully, who has trained at Harvey Haddon, has cerebral palsy and generalised dystonia, which affects her mobility. In 2015, she suffered a shoulder injury which resulted in a painful tightening of the tissue around the joint. Over the next few years, she would overcome significant pain and learn to swim in a completely new way. Tully returned to competition, and at her first Paralympic Games in Tokyo in 2021, she won gold in the 100-metre freestyle and silver in 200-metre freestyle. Most recently, at the Paris 2024 Paralympic Games, she won 2 golds in the same events. Tully also enjoys frame running, which helps her to maintain her fitness and gain strength in her legs for push-offs in the pool. Image caption: Tully Kearney wins gold in the 100-metre freestyle S5 women at the Paris 2024 Paralympic Games. Image credit: Paralympics GB David Pearce. Image description: colour photos of Tully Kearney during the 100-metre freestyle S5 event at the Paris 2024 Paralympic Games. The left photo shows her seated in her wheelchair during the medal ceremony. She's wearing a white tracksuit jacket as she holds the gold medal in her right hand and the Paris 2024 mascot Frige in her left hand. The seated crowd applauds behind her. The photo on the right shows Tully in action during the event, mid-stroke, mouth open in exertion as the water splashes, and wearing the red swimming cap with her name on it. Frame running. Frame running is an adapted sport developed for people with mobility impairments, including those with cerebral palsy. It allows athletes to run whilst holding handles and a 3-wheeled frame, steering with their hands or arms. Frame running was developed in the 1990s by Danish Paralympian and occupational therapist Connie Hansen and para-athlete Mansour Siddiqui. Connie designed a frame which would allow Mansour, who has cerebral palsy, to run more powerfully. Connie's father built the first prototype in his garage out of a bike, an old office chair, and the pipe of a vacuum cleaner. Siddiqui brought the running bike to the Robin Hood Games in Nottingham, and his dominance prompted a new discipline altogether. Frame running was born. In 2028, frame running will be included as a new sport at the Los Angeles Paralympic Games. Caption: Mansour Siddiqui with his running bike in the 1990s. Image credit: Connie Hansen. Image description: a black and white photograph of frame runner Mansour Siddiqui. He is standing in the centre of the picture, facing right, with his running frame on an athletics track. Behind him is the inner field of the track with grass, a fence with trees, and flags with crosses on them. He is wearing a white t-shirt, dark trousers, white socks, and running spikes. The running frame is white with the number 145 on the handles. By Connie Hansen.
Extra Strong Demo Frame Runner, size 4, by Connie Hansen. A lightweight 3-wheeled running frame made from dark navy blue metal tubing, cold to the touch. The frame has one smaller wheel at the front and 2 much larger wheels at the back, all with thin rubber tyres and fine silver spokes. In between the back wheels is a narrow black saddle, and, positioned just higher in front of it, a padded chest support where athletes can lean their torso. Beneath the seat and chest pad are adjustable metal rods and clamps, suggesting the frame can be customised to fit different body sizes and support needs. The structure has no pedals, chain or motor. It's designed to support a runner while allowing their legs to move freely underneath. The metal frame appears smooth, polished, and lightweight.
Global Virtual Museum. By collaborating with national disability sports organisations, athletes, community groups and individuals, the NPHT has co-created accessible virtual galleries for British blind sport, cerebral palsy sport and Dwarf Sports Association UK as part of their Global Virtual Museum. Visit the NPHT's Global Virtual Museum using the kiosk below and explore the Cerebral Palsy Gallery. Discover 10 further galleries celebrating disability and national and international Paralympic history. Guided tours are also available on the screen. Scan the QR code to explore screen-readable content and alternative formats. You can also access free resources and activities.
This kiosk was funded by the Mitsubishi Corporation, London branch, and the Wolfson Foundation.
Share your stories. During the curation of this exhibition, we met with local people who have been involved as athletes, coaches, volunteers, educators, administrators, fundraisers, agitators and activists. Through them, the richness of disability sport history in Nottingham was revealed. This exhibition displays some of those stories, but just like a piece of fine Nottingham lace, we know there is more to be found in the spaces in between. We encourage you to share the stories that are missing from this exhibition. Use the materials here to add your own disability sport memories. Take a photo of your memory and share it on social media. Make sure you tag us using the handles below so that we can preserve your story for generations to come.
Share your stories with us on Facebook and Instagram at Paralympic Heritage, or on Blue Sky at paraheritage.bsky.social. You can find us on LinkedIn, National Paralympic Heritage Trust, or you can email us at admin@paralympicheritage.org.uk.
Get involved. Across Nottinghamshire, there are lots of opportunities to get involved in sport. Visit the CP Sport website, Active Knots, or Everybody Moves for guidance and opportunities. Harvey Haddon hosts swimming lessons for disabled adults and children and people with additional needs. There are also opportunities for power chair football and power badminton sessions at the stadium. Nottinghamshire Football Association provides pathways into disability football, including frame football and power chair football. They offer resources for CP football and free training sessions for coaches working with disabled footballers. England National Cerebral Palsy footballers in action. Image credit CP Sport. Image description: a colour photograph of two England Cerebral Palsy footballers. They are on an AstroTurf pitch with a white-walled shutter blurred out in the background. They are competing for a ball. Close behind them on the floor is a white line. The player on the left is wearing a red jersey with the white number 2 in the centre, and the blue 3 lions are on the left breast. His shorts are white, socks are red and boots are black. The player on the right is wearing a black headband but a white jersey with the number 4 on it. He has white shorts and socks too, with red boots.
Have your say. We'd love to receive your feedback about the exhibition. Please scan the QR code to complete a short survey. All responses are confidential and can be anonymous. Thank you.